Hey, hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this Python beginner tutorial series, today let's discuss about what are Python keywords and identifiers. Okay, first we will start with Python keywords. So keywords are predefined reserved words used in Python programming language that have special meaning to the compiler. Okay, so I would underline this word reserved words. Okay, so there are list of reserved keywords that is actually present in Python, which gives special meaning to the compiler. Okay, so you cannot use those keywords anywhere else during your programming language. For example, you cannot use it as a variable name, you cannot use it as a function name or any other identifier. Okay, that's what our next point is. So we cannot use those keywords as variable name, function name or any other identifier. They are used to define the syntax and structure of the programming language. So once we start learning what are different keywords that is existing in Python and how it is really used in the programming language in real time, you will really understand it has very special meaning. It actually helps you in understanding the structure and syntax of the Python language. Okay, so this is something you have to really understand how this works out. All right, and finally, all the keywords except true, false and none are in lowercase and they must be written as they are. Okay, so these, apart from these three keywords, like it starts with a capital letter, right? True, false and none. Apart from all these three keywords, each and every keyword that exists in Python must be a lowercase. Okay, it is in lowercase, and do not forget to use that in lowercase only. All right, so in the next three slides I'm gonna show you the list of keywords that is present in Python which we regularly use. Okay, for now I'll just give you explanation about only 3 or 4 keywords. It's a quite long list, so if you are really interested, we would suggest you to pause the screen and look at each and every keyword and the description about what this keyword is used for. For example, AND is a logical operator. As is used to create an alias. We generally use assert while debugging. So break is something which is used to break out of the class. Break out of the loop. Class is used to define the class. Continue is used to continue the next iteration of loop. So all these keywords we will be discussing in our upcoming videos. So do not worry if you are not really clear about what these keywords are for. These are very easy. So once you start with your real-time programming, you would definitely understand these keywords when and where to use. So there is no need to by heart or really know what these keywords are. So once you start working on real time, you would definitely remember these keywords. Okay, so do not worry about it. For now, I'm not gonna deep dive into Python keywords. It's very I all I need to do, all I wanted to show is just give a very introduction about what Python keywords is. All right, and next we will discuss about Python identifiers. So identifiers are the names that is given to the variables, classes, methods, etc. So here I have listed few rules for naming an identifier. For example, identifiers cannot be keyword, as we seen in the previous slides, right? So it cannot be a reserved keyword. Identifiers are case sensitive. It can have a sequence of letters and digits. However, it must begin with a letter or an underscore. The first letter of an identifier cannot be a digit. It's a convention to start an identifier with a letter rather than underscore. Yes, if you use an underscore at the beginning of the identifier, it will really work, but it's not a best practice you generally follow. So always start with a letter which gives meaningful sense to that keyword that you are writing to, meaningful sense to the identifier that you are writing to. And white spaces are not allowed. We cannot use special symbols like exclamatory, at, hash, and so on. Okay, and let me show how this works. For example, let's create a keyword. Say let's create an identifier. Say programming language equal to let's call it as Python. Okay, here now if I run this, it will run without any error because the identifier that we created is valid. It just follows the alphabets. I'm not using any other thing here. Okay, if in case if I start using digits at the beginning which does not follow the rule. For example, I have given 1 2 at the beginning, so right away my IDE throws the error because it's not a valid identifier. Even if I run this, it says syntax error. All right, so where else, in case if I use this in a middle or like at the end, this will definitely work because it accepts the digits at the end. Okay, for example, let's see other example. For example, we spoke about symbols, right? So in case if I use the symbols anywhere, say exclamatory, so it does not work here. All right, in case if you use ampersand, it will not work. But in case if you use underscore, which follows the actual rule, it will work, right? If you use underscore at the beginning, it will definitely work. Okay, because these and all are the rules for creating an identifier. So I would suggest you to try out all these rules. It is very easy. In case if something is not working, please let me know. I will try to resolve that for you. In case if I have missed any rules that Python identifiers, then please let me know in the comment section, so I will try to cover that in detail. Okay, so that's all what I want to cover. But yeah, before wrapping up, I just want to I've just listed out few points to remember, which is really important for you to you understand during real-time programming. Because why I listed down is I have seen most of the people in real-time programming always forget these kind of smaller things. Okay, so let's see what are the key points that we need to remember. Python is a case sensitive language. This means Python with a capital P and smaller p are not the same. Okay, this Python is different and this Python is also different. Okay, and next one is always give the identifiers a name that makes sense. I have given an example here where L equal to Python is a valid name, but writing it as language equal to Python would make more sense. Okay, because later when you come after some time or some days, you will really understand what that variable, what that keywords, what that identifier stands for. Okay, even if someone else is looking at your code, they will really understand what this identifier stands for. So it's always a best practice to give some meaningful name to the identifiers. Okay, and finally, multiple words can be separated using an underscore, like an IT professional. Here I have used right, I've used an underscore to separate multiple words with multiple words. Okay, so it's a general best practice that people usually follow. Okay, so and I have seen most of the time people try using camel case, which is again a very best practice. But in case if you want to separate it, also use separate it using an underscore also, it will be really meaningful. Okay, the only reason why we want to remember all these things is because you know, when you write it now, it makes sense. You might you might know how it works, but if someone else is looking at your code, or even you come after some time, like after a long gap, you're trying to review that code, it will not make sense. Okay, so it always remember as a best practice, give a meaningful name to the identifier, and follow best practices that would follow best practices to create an identifier. Okay, that way you can actually improve the quality of your code and improve the visibility and readability of the code. Okay, so that's all what I want to cover as part of this Python keywords and identifiers video. So in case if you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please subscribe and follow my channel. Thank you.